Yes, sir. You know we're back with another installment back here at the TVA and the Patreon. Oh, they don't know that the TVA is in the Patreon. Our TVA is in our Patreon, so yeah. I guess if you're here, then you're here. Variant. So just call out all of the listeners as variants. Um, there's so much to touch on that this is probably going to be a longer one. But as always, I'm your host, Ryan Aubrey. Of course, I had to bring the lovely duo, Steph and Hannah. And of course, I had to bring Bad Opinion Man himself, Lucius. So, where do we even begin?
How about the opening?
Okay, that would help.
Yeah, because that was pretty cool.
So, we walk into this castle. It turns out it wasn't a prison. Okay. It wasn't Dr. Doom. But Miss Minutes. We,
Mm.
we knew we were going to get Miss Minutes. But what was even fishier was that Miss Minutes also didn't like acknowledge Ravana. So like I guess we'll touch we could touch Ravana now, but like where did Ravana even go? And what does that mean based on like what we just found out? Because I think we saw three pieces of information we needed to see. We saw Hunter B-15 go show the others Ravana,
Mm-hmm.
like in her actual life. We saw
Yeah.
we saw Ravana leave. We saw Miss Minutes and Ravana not necessarily be on the same page anymore.
Yeah, like Miss Minutes knew more than her.
And Miss Minutes was connected to He Who Remains, as we come to know him. Thanks, Marvel, again for the confusing names. Um, we know from the comics that Kang the Conqueror has a relationship with Ravana across every timeline. It's interesting that she was personally placed in the TVA on the sacred timeline and saved.
Yeah.
And Miss Minutes is always with Ravana. So it's crazy because she's always reporting back to He Who Remains.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, He Who Remains Nameless. Um, Speaking of him, I don't think that was Kane. And I think that's why they chose not to introduce him as such. I think he was meant to, and honestly, there's a precedent for this in the comics. Nerd moment. It's time for the nerd moment. So in the comics, there's obviously a lot of versions of Kane. This was actually one of the most comic book accurate or just comic book heavy depictions of any live action uh work ever. This episode,
Mm-hmm.
and it's crazy because they were literally sitting down for 30 minutes an episode, and we were sitting there with them at a table talking, just dumping exposition on us. But in the comics, a one version of Kang is Immortus.
Yep.
Immortus is like the basically the most peaceful version of Kang, respectively. And this version, he also won the war and also like tried to survive because he was afraid of his other versions of himself. I think that's who we were introduced to this time.
Mm-hmm.
I
I
agree.
think we finished with Kang and the Kangs, but
Yeah.
we'll get to that. I guess we'll save that. We'll put a pot. We'll pin it. But we'll come back to that. So how do you guys feel about that castle scene? How do you guys feel about us walking the castle, going into it? Walk me through. Give me a tour of the castle in Smoky Boom Boom Man or whatever his name was.
Are you talking about
What's his name?
Porky Boom Boom Man?
Elias.
Elias.
Elias. Yeah, you know what I meant.
He's the worst at these names. Little
I'm
sticky
working this
pointy
thing.
stick or whatever.
Oh yeah, the pointy sticky thing, sticky pokey thing. Oh, it's crazy how they're pruning people. This is just really random. It's crazy how they're pruning people with the sticks. And remembering like the original Avengers when Loki had like the stick, the staff with the tesseract on it. Isn't it crazy how it's like a similar mechanism? I was
Mhm.
just throwing Easter eggs out there. All right, go ahead, y'all. Sorry.
Well, we gotta talk about what Miss Minutes asked them, like, or trying to give them like what their fantasy or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to tempt them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's evidence right there. I mean, we obviously don't know exactly what the result of things is going to be. Well, I was going to say that giving somebody that offer would be evidence that that he who remains is getting nervous. And that's what I thought when I saw it. But if he literally knew every action up until that point, you could say that that action, that offer that was made, was not because he was nervous. It was because he knew what would happen if they were offered it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you
That's
kind
true.
of spoiled the end of the conversation there a little bit, but I I think that I agree with that. I think that last scene when he like looks at like he welcomed the death. It wasn't like he tried to fight it off or move out the way or run or flee. He welcomed the idea of uh Sylvie killing him because he knew he would be win.
Yeah. Was it just me, or did he still, despite insisting this, seem a little bit nervous at the idea of being killed?
I now here's the thing, and we'll get to this question at the end. We'll revisit the answer. I want you guys to just think about this one. Did he actually win or did
Right.
he lose? Because I think he lost.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was in over his head, and I think that he lost by the end, by the non post credit pre credit scene, the last scene. I don't know what they call it at this point. I wasn't happy, Marvel. You made me wait. I watched every credit, and it was nothing, and I was very disappointed. But I guess it was supposed to be a cliffhanger, but you guys don't do that, Marvel. What are we doing now? But anyway, I do think that he thought that he was gonna win, and so he welcomed the death, or he was just excited to know another version of himself would win. I mean, it seemed kind of backwards that he would like spend his whole life, like millions of years,
Yeah.
creating the sacred timeline, only to just like die and hand it off to someone else who was another version of himself who he was keeping out. Like it just wouldn't make sense that he would do something like that. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but he in himself is an Easter egg. We know that he is at least Nathaniel Richards on one version of Earth, and we know that Nathaniel Richards is related to Reed Richards. Here's how bad I am at math. When when he said the 31st century, I was trying to figure out if I could do the math to figure out how many generations away he would be from Reed Richards to see if I could tell if he would be like if they would go for the young approach with the Fantastic Four or the older approach. As you could tell, I came into more dead ends than him in that room. Um, but yeah, what do you guys think about that though? That
About it
opinion, man.
being connected to Reed Richards?
Really, just like what was his entire because basically everything that we've seen thus far we can say is on the sacred timeline, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's been like pruning it, and going through it and like making sure that in like nothing can happen on this time because that's the timeline he's from. So
Mm-hmm.
nothing can happen on this timeline that could put it in jeopardy of another version being able to get out of. Ironically, because we said last episode this might be his prison. Ironically, a prison,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's kind of what they're in. Like he's killing versions of himself off in these other timelines, like so that they don't, discover this or so they don't, become active enough to, cross the multiverse.
Yeah.
Like he's completely killing them because he's killing timelines. Remember, that's what the
Mm-hmm.
TVA did. They would go and they would like reset a timeline.
Yeah.
They would take the variant and reset a timeline so that it couldn't happen again. And so every timeline was then the sacred timeline, and therefore you have what you have in Avengers Endgame, which was when they went back in time and they had to go reset everything, but obviously they didn't do it the exact way. That's how we get this series.
Mm-hmm.
And so, which is another point I want to make. But I think it's interesting, and I guess I'll touch on this one at the end too. But because I have 2 points now. The first point that I was going to make was that it's interesting that in a world where all of the Kangs or the Kang variants are like scarce because they die because they don't get to like ever be born or survive.
Mm-hmm.
It's ran by Lokis, and in a world where Kang is allowed to survive, like as we see at the very end, and there's like Kangs everywhere, it's multiversal war. There doesn't appear to be any Lokis
Right.
because Mobius asked him that question at the end, like, "Who are you?" But remember in the beginning, Mobius knew everything about Loki, very
Yeah.
intimately about Loki's in general. He was
Yeah.
like an expert on Loki's, and to see that he no longer knows who he is, we see that in a world where Kang is allowed to survive, he probably makes sure that Loki variants are killed,
Mm-hmm.
which seems to be a hard thing to do if you ask me. But
Mhm.
my point that I was gonna make right there, the second point was that the Avengers. Is it weird that every Avengers movie somehow sets up the next one?
Is it weird?
Like Avengers 1, we have Loki, right? We
Mm-hmm.
see the whole setup to Thanos, but because of the whole attack on New York, Tony Stark is of course has his PTSD, and so he creates Ultron, which is the next Avengers. Because of the events there, we get to Infinity War, which obviously Infinity War and Endgame are part one, part two. But because of the events in Endgame with Loki, right?
Mm-hmm.
In terms of like how they, went back in time and then Loki was able to get become a variant basically. And that's how we get the entire show, Loki, that we're in now, right?
Yeah.
However, this entire show just set up Kang, who they announced as the big bad of the MCU now, which means that Endgame, that moment in Endgame set up the next Avengers because now the Avengers have to get it together. Whoever
Yeah.
we have left at this point, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what it's gonna take, but I think that we will find out shortly. And I see why Phase 4 was so short because they don't have time to get everything together. Literally, they don't have time.
Right.
They're dealing with someone who can no longer be stopped, basically, because he's gonna just keep coming back. Like they would have to base like there's a purpose for the TVA now to stop Kang,
Yeah.
but like you need a Kang to stop a Kang. Is that not weird? Like I don't know.
I feel like it's gonna get so confusing with with the multiverse.
Oh, I'm
'Cause Who
very
says, who
confused.
says all of the like Phase 4 even happens in the same timeline?
I did
So,
I did see someone say that though. Like they were
Like,
like, well, they can't just write off all of what Marvel has done before. So the
yeah,
idea is that like everything still happens as it does on one timeline, but there's so many branching timelines that like who's to say that other things can't exist now?
because that could be like an easy way to kind of be like, um, for the sister on Black Panther to be Black Panther.
Mm, mm. I doubt they do that,
I doubt they do that too. Not to like, but I
it's
mean,
what they should be doing. But
it
but they
would be
could
like,
do it.
yeah, they could technically.
Mm.
I
You
think
have you have the first moment of the conversation.
just because we're talking about sort of the confusion with like multiverse and stuff is any story that involves time travel like Loki does inevitably has at least a few logical fallacies. I don't think I've seen a time travel story that doesn't have any. And it's something you can kind of look over to a certain degree. But I think Loki in particular, and some of the other, and like the final Avengers where they time traveled, both suffer from the issue of having a boatload of issues in regards to the time travel aspects that just don't make sense.
Steve Rogers.
Oh God.
Oh my god.
Oh my God.
They announced that Steve Rogers, the children of Peggy, was always Steve Rogers' children, and I still can't
She
figure out
was
how that is.
married. She was married to another dude. That was part of the plot, is that she got over him and then married somebody who wasn't Steve Rogers.
I'm still confused about that. Maybe it was a Steve Rogers variant. I mean, I'm just still very confused about that one. I need an explanation, Marvel. I just had to stop doing the mental gymnastics required to figure it out. It just
And
wasn't good for my mental health.
the fact that Steve Rogers, just has to keep quiet, like doesn't say anything about 9/11 that's going to happen, that he knows is going to happen, or any other number of events that he could prevent, and he just doesn't say anything.
But he goes back and makes sure to like live the rest of his life. He lives the rest of his life with Peggy. Now, that was also confusing. At what point did he come back? Because there should be no Steve Rogers in our universe.
Exactly.
Like old man Steve, he shouldn't exist.
He would have been, yeah.
If he was smart, he would have gone back and lived his life, and then he would have like triggered the thing, to come back as like a young version. But I guess that would be defeating the purpose of Falcon and Winter Soldier. So sorry, Marvel. I'm just saying what I would do.
I was partially bringing that up to go, so, Sylvie kills, I was about to say he who must not be named. What do they call him?
He who remains.
He who remains.
He who remains. Not Harry Potter. He who remains. But if she kills him at the end of time, it shouldn't have affected the past. That still would have happened. So I think it's just like one of the many problems that they created from this for themselves when they did this whole time travel thing. A lot of it just doesn't make sense.
And I think that's why they gave us 30 minutes of exposition with no action for that last episode. They were like, we know it's going to be confusing. Let's just talk about it.
Let's slow it down a little bit for you.
Yeah. Like, you don't want anything to be distracting. Because, it was still a lot of people confused about, like, how Black Widow had a movie if she just died.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they had to put it in bold text in the trailer.
And they kept referencing, like, what timeline it was, too.
Literally.
Like, they referenced it so much.
People were so confused naturally, but I think that the timeline, so when Sylvie sent him back, I don't even think she realized the full ramifications of her actions. But remember, just the fact that like they were sitting in the room, and so like if you look at the timeline, right, like the actual like timeline, the line, and I seen this Easter egg as well. Like if you go back to episode 1 when Loki, or 2 or whatever episode early on when Loki's talking to Miss Minutes, and Miss Minutes is like, there used to be a multiversal war, and then she like is showing the like animation of like a line. It's actually the same line that we see at the end of the movie. I mean the end of the series. And so if you pay attention to the line while they're like throughout that 30 minutes of like exposition, the line is actually changing and altering and shifting. So remember we see Mobius and Hunter B, what I keep forgetting her name. 27? 25?
B15.
B15. Going through it, that sounds like we're playing bingo. Going through going through and watching it change. That's actually kind of, even though the TVA exists outside of time, which again you're right, that just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I think it's the same thing with the whole Falcon and Winter Soldier ending with the whole power broker reveal, where it's like Marvel is just really kind of saying, hold on, just don't look too closely right now. Like, it's not gonna make any sense right now. Just give us time to explain it. Trust me, we're gonna explain it. Because I think that what we're gonna find out maybe in Loki season 2 or one of the other projects that are coming up is Loki was either sent back to another timeline, or, like I said, uh the other Kang one, because the other Kang did come back. The one that she killed, he actually was born still. Of course, that's how time works. And
Yeah.
then he did go back and fight the multiversal war. But whatever Kang won that one, who we assume obviously is Kang the Conqueror,
Yeah.
he somehow knew about Elias enough to stop it from happening. And so Kang, the Kang that, or he who remains, Immortus, whatever he's going to be known as, did not win specifically. And because he did not win, when Loki goes back, everything was changed.
Right.
And at least that's my understanding. But I could be completely wrong.
You keep going back to the, like, he didn't win thing. But, like, just his wording was like, didn't he? Because, like, he would say stuff like, can you really trust anybody? And what did he say? He said, like, you can't get to the end until you've been changed by the journey. Like, certain things he said is like he was, like, manipulating them too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. I mean, one of the things I kind of thought from watching his whole, like, he basically said there are two options and I'll win either way. Like, you guys take over and I retire, or you kill me and another version of me will take over and I win anyways. But I feel like when he was saying that second option, he didn't totally believe that. Again, maybe it was just me, but he seemed really unsure and nervous whenever he said the second option. And I think that's because this version of himself doesn't win, because it's another version of himself, but it's not him. He still dies.
Yeah.
This version of his life ends, and while another version of himself does win, he still lost.
He does say that though. He said they all aren't as, what do you say, amicable as him, or he does say that.
Nice or something. I don't remember.
Yeah,
what
something like that.
Specifically.
I mean, he warns them what's gonna happen, but then,
Well,
like, when they're fighting, because you know how they're like, they both, one wants that one option, the other wants the second option, and they're like fighting.
Yeah.
He's like chilling in the background.
Oh, he was kind of rooting them on. He wanted them to that, but that's why he was egging them on. That's all. Did he want to die?
Yeah.
I thought he wanted to die. He wanted it to be over.
Yeah, like they don't. While they're fighting, they don't even like zoom in on him much, or at all. You just see him in the background, just like watching, like us.
Because I wouldn't have let the door. I would just lock the door. I know she was gonna like bust it down anyway, but like I would have just left. I feel like I could have just left. Like, if I wanted to survive, I wouldn't be there if I had a feeling that I was gonna leave it up to them. I wouldn't, even how he revealed it to them, like, oh, I don't know what's gonna happen anymore. They wouldn't have tried to kill him anymore.
Yeah. Well, I
when
think
he was doing the oops, not there, like that whole thing.
Yeah. Well, the way I was looking at it is, I feel like he was trying to convince himself he would win either way, but he didn't completely believe it. I might be looking way too much into it.
So do you guys think the multiversal war is over, or do you guys think it's just beginning?
It just started.
Oh,
just beginning.
Because clearly there's already been some semblance of a battle, because one Kang won, but clearly because there's so many different multiverses, there's even more versions of Kang than before, than the original. And maybe that's how he lost. It was a new version who somehow knew all of this, or just could anticipate better.
Mm-hmm.
Then now that there's so many different branches and it's an infinite amount of multiverses, it's like, oh, maybe there will always be a Kang that wins. And I think that's what they're kind of playing on when it comes to the future of Kang.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it's not one big bad. He has to be the big bad because he just can't be stopped.
Yeah.
That's terrible. Talk about a contingency plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Talk about self-identity issues. Did they just steal the entire plot of this show from Split? Let me find out. Marvel stealing ideas from Shyamalan. Um, so I seen one theory that Sylvie will become the new continuity Loki. Many believe Loki will probably end up sacrificing himself for her.
Mm.
They finally kissed too,
Yep.
and
At
it
the
was
work.
kind of terrible.
It
It
was
Oh
was
my
like,
very
god.
bad. I cringed.
Oh, okay.
I
At,
just
I was like, what
at
is
least,
that?
yeah, thank you. At least you guys are on the same page with me. When I saw that, I was like, this is stupid. I was like,
I
that's the worst
hated
part.
it.
It was bad.
I hated it, but that's because I think it's way too close to incest. I feel like I have to bring that up every time because I don't get why you guys aren't as weirded out about it as I am. But it's
oh, it
just
seems like they
weird.
just abandoned all of that. Like that entire like weirdness around it, and the whole idea of like her not wanting to be called Loki. It seemed like while they got in the elevator, the writers were just playing with us, like, haha, we got y'all. We made y'all believe this was a thing, and it's not. We're about to blow up your minds.
Yeah.
Because he's like literally like, oh, I'm here with you, Loki, and Loki. I thought she was gonna go off with him at that point. Like if it was any time to stab him, it would be right there, right? Or attempt to.
Mm-hmm.
But no, she was okay with it. And then the whole like weirdness around it, it was like, oh yeah, this is pretty much natural. This is it now.
But maybe it wasn't like a kiss. Maybe it was like, it seemed like obviously it was part of her plan to like
To
get him
distract
out.
him.
Yeah, but then that's like that's what Loki's do. They pretty much they fall for themselves and they're tricksters. So like I don't know why Loki actually fell for Sylvie kissing him, which
This
is
is the
stupid to me.
most un-Loki Loki ever.
Yeah, I think that's been kind of a theme with the entire show, though, is he never seemed to be clever enough to be
The superior Loki.
Loki.
Yeah.
Like Loki needs to go to like I think he went to the Mobius school of detectives where and got a degree in Loki because this Loki is a really terrible like
Yeah.
Loki. Like he can't figure anything out.
Like from like the first episode, like, and this is really stupid, but he signed a contract without reading it. He was just like, they said just sign it, and he's like, okay, which is just like a really
Non-Loki
not
thing.
Loki like thing to do. Like he just continues to make impulsive actions, which isn't really.
And when I was watching the show with my auntie, when is it Sylvie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, when she got taken by the TVA and how she escaped so easily, I was like that's exactly what Loki would do. Yet he didn't do
Right.
any of that. Like he just went along with the plan. I said there's no way Loki would actually like go through what they're doing and actually sit down and talk with them. He would like find a way to leave or at least or trick
He
them
would
into
find a
doing
way to
something.
fit in or something.
Like he
Mm-hmm.
didn't he literally just went with their plan and was like, oh sure I'll help you guys. Like no, that's not what you would do.
I mean, he
That's not very Loki
technically
like.
did have like an escape attempt or two, but he kind of gave up on that way too quickly.
I'm
Wasn't
just
Sylvie like?
like,
Wasn't Sylvie the only one like trying to stab He Who Remains? Like
yeah,
I don't think I saw Loki try once.
I think he believed him.
He was just chilling. Just
But
Ooh,
Loki
that
probably
was a
could have.
cringy argument they had too.
Who
Mm-hmm.
Sylvie and Loki?
Yeah. When he's like,
Yeah.
you can't be, or you don't trust, and I can't be trust. I was like,
Well,
Yeah,
that made
yeah.
me cringe. Yeah.
did he
I
just
was like,
explain Loki to me? Like, is he talking to himself technically at this point? This feels too weird.
That's what I've been saying the whole time.
Like, I was confused at that subtext. I mean, honestly, I think a part of them probably wants to care because clearly, I have a question: where is Sylvie now?
I
Is she
know,
still there?
Yeah.
because she's stuck there.
I
It
no,
mean,
appears so.
she has the temp pad thing.
Oh,
Oh, that's true.
was
Yeah.
she?
Is Loki
Yeah.
gonna prune himself?
I'm sorry, what?
Is Loki gonna prune himself,
Oh, to get back to her.
or is he gonna? I think now we're gonna see the. Because here's the thing, and here's the only reason why she couldn't be the new Loki. Like we couldn't just give up on Loki because she's not quite as charming as Loki, and so it just probably wouldn't work. Like we like Sylvie because we like Sylvie as Sylvie. We don't like Sylvie as like the new Loki.
Yeah. Agreed.
Right.
We just missed our Loki because I still don't think that we've seen our Loki all season.
Yeah.
Can you guys also explain? Like, I'm still confused on like how did Mobius and them forget who he is? Like, what's that whole thing?
It's a different timeline.
It's a different
Yeah.
timeline.
I think
So
that how they got to a different timeline, I think, doesn't make sense. Like they did not follow through on the logic there. But yeah, they're basically in a different timeline because the one they were in before.
And then,
so
Well,
because
they
and then
so
could
big
technically say that the Tempat it requires, even though the TVA is not in time and space, there's a location for the TVA somewhere, right? And
Mhm.
where
so
does it?
remember before all of the timelines were on top of each other. It was like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then he would get rid of all the other ones. But like when
Mhm.
he stopped getting rid of them, like when he stopped actually tracking them and doing his due diligence, like because obviously like the branches started and he was like, I don't know what's gonna happen at this point. Uh,
Mhm.
technically where she sent him could have been locked on the coordinates to the where the TVA formerly was, but because it branched so many times, he could have gone to like a different timeline.
yeah, and then you kind of
So
touched on it when remember when Ryan kind of said that maybe Lokis don't exist in that like certain timeline.
oh,
That's why he
okay,
didn't know
okay.
who he was. He's like, who's your super
Because
or whatever he asked him.
so is it like everybody forgot who Loki is, or like just them, like some people?
Loki dies, and it appears the only two Lokis in the universe in the entire multiverse of infinite multiverses is Loki and Sylvie.
Oh,
Well, there's still the Lokis that have been
In the void.
pruned.
I don't think they exist anymore.
the other Lokis in the void, they don't exist.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
we have
really
to
hard
see
to
what happens.
say because I mean these are characters that clearly existed in timelines that don't exist anymore. So shouldn't they still be there?
Well, it's the end of time, but here's the reason I don't think they exist. Kang was in control. Whatever Kang beat He Who Remains had
Mm-hmm.
to know how to control Elias. And so he probably knew how to expand Elias to actually getting rid of the Lokis that existed there because they could be a danger or detriment or threat to his rule. Remember how they came together and helped Loki and
Mhm.
Sylvie at the end? He probably can't allow that to happen. He can't take the same chances that his predecessor took. So he probably got rid of them. That would be my explanation. I mean, it's sad, we need more alligator Loki.
I know. I was about to say that.
I
Don't
was
take that away
genuinely
from me.
about to mention how that better not be the case because Alligator Loki has to come back.
But it makes sense because Mobius in this timeline, at least for Loki, our local a Loki at this point, a person at this point. He can't be called Loki anymore. He's just him. Um, where he ends up at the end, we see uh Mobius doesn't know anything about any Loki. So that means that the other Lokis have been wiped away. And the timeline where like he was formerly from, right? It either doesn't exist or it exists on another branch that it would be very difficult for him to like get back to. And when he died, where he dies in the timeline where he was supposed to be, where like Thanos chokes him out, that
Hmm.
was the end of Loki. At least our Loki forever. This
Yeah.
Loki is the only Loki left. So you can't go back in time and get him because when you come back, it'll be different.
Hmm.
It's a lot of mental gymnastics. It's a lot to even think about. But I guess we'll find once we find out the answer of where Sylvie is and where she goes, we'll
Hmm.
know the answer of specifically what happened to the other Lokis and so on and so forth. Because we do know this. I will say this. It's confirmed. Loki is confirmed for Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
Really?
Probably an end credit.
Yeah.
It's possible, and then that sets up,
Yeah.
Loki season 2. But we know that with Loki, we thought he was just setting up, and we were correct, kind of. He was setting up Ant-Man, which would set up Fantastic Four. We now know that he was setting up Ant-Man, Fantastic Four, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, and even the Venom crossover, and possibly the X-Men.
You know what I heard? I heard that the TVA is inside the quantum realm, which makes more sense for Ant-Man to me.
Yeah.
Because there was a little city in Ant-Man and the Wasp. When they went to the quantum realm, you saw a little city that looked exactly like the TVA in the corner.
I mean, that's what I said last week. I agree.
And I was gonna say they kept saying like time works differently here, and that's exactly what they said in the quantum realm. So I was like, yeah, it has to be in there.
I mean, it's 4 time always. Oh no, I said it wrong. 4 time always. What is it?
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't remember.
I think for all
always.
for
Oh,
all time always.
Got her. Get her. TVA variant. No, I really it was interesting how they said that. So is our Mobius? Do we even have a Mobius at this point? Like, is our Mobius and
Where is our
like,
Mobius?
where is our Mobius?
Because he's somewhere too.
We never got our jet ski answers, by the way.
Yeah.
I was convinced he was gonna have some kind of like chance to like explore that and stuff during the show as like a little, but
He didn't even say wow. Wow. He didn't say that at all. So for that reason, 0 out of 0. Or I guess that's a perfect score. 0 out of 10.
I know we didn't get a lot of Mobius, but at least he didn't die. Like, I mean, he's still around.
Sorta.
Remember, I know, like, but remember we like, I thought he was gonna die.
I'm so confused. I think that we don't even care where Ravonna went. They could have cut that scene.
True. Like,
yeah.
Like, I guess it was cool for the setup, but wherever she does go, but like, we really don't care. There's so many other things to talk about, like X-Men.
I mean, there was.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. The one line I was wondering about is before she leaves, and this is the only reason why I'm kind of curious, is before she leaves, clock lady, what's her name?
Miss Minutes.
Miss Minutes. I love Miss Minutes. Ravonna requested some documents, and then Miss Minutes gives her ones she did not request, and she said that. And Miss Minutes' response was, he who remains thought these would be more useful to you. So he's clearly like set that up for some reason.
You are right. Wow, you are a good watcher.
Wait, say that again. Say that again.
Ravonna requested documents from Miss Minutes, but instead of giving her the documents she requested, Miss Minutes gave her a different set of documents and said that he who remains told her to give these to Ravonna because they would be more useful to her.
Oh, okay.
I didn't even catch that. Yeah.
That could go one of two ways. He could be secretly actually surviving and he just chose not to fight to live another day, or he could have faked his death, who knows? Or he could have actually chose to like set it up so like she went somewhere where he was gonna be.
Yeah,
right?
where she would be safe.
Or he could have planned overconfidently to win the multiverse award and get her to wherever where he could like actually like win and like do what he needs to do and retire and stuff. And she'd be there as a contingency, but he died, so he didn't. Like, he double died. So he's not gonna be there. I don't know.
He double died.
He double died at this point. I mean, at this point, how many versions of himself died? Jesus.
I don't know, but like Jonathan Majors' delivery throughout that whole episode.
Oh, it was impeccable.
Amazing.
Yeah.
He caught us completely off guard.
He did. He did so. Like I've seen him in Lovecraft Country, but oh my god, he did so good.
I was
Wait,
surprised at like how like forward he was. I was waiting for like the plot twist.
wait, who?
I know. He Who Remains. That's the actor's name.
Oh,
Yeah, I know.
I didn't like him.
I didn't think they would bring him in so quick. Like it was like the first like. It was really quick. I thought they were
I
gonna
was
have.
I thought it was like a whole thing they were gonna like make us like go through.
I thought they were gonna drag it out a little bit.
I feel like that was the only reveal that fans actually were like, okay, Marvel, you listen, because we all were very let down with WandaVision and also very let down with Falcon and Winter Soldier with the big reveals at the end.
I wasn't let down.
Here you go, bad opinion man. Why were you not let down?
I don't know. I wasn't let down. They always got something for us, so I'm sure they'll do something.
Okay, so yeah, of course, obviously, but people were let down from the show in its entirety, not just like the connection to the the next thing where they finally do explain it to us and we're like, we get it now. It's like
So
the
wait, why?
initial shock.
So nobody was let down. Wait, so you're saying people were let down from WandaVision, like the whole show?
Mephisto.
I
Yeah.
love the beginning of WandaVision. It's
I,
how they resolved everything that was the problem, in my opinion.
I don't know. You guys are Ryan. We are on two different stories.
Yeah, you're on that timeline with Loki.
Speaking of like
Because
timelines, are you guys gonna watch What If?
I think that was the
yeah.
best
Yeah.
promotion for What If
Yeah,
whatsoever.
I was like that definitely like makes you want to go watch What If.
I can't wait to see that.
Yeah.
Did you see the controversy with What If that they had like last week?
What?
No.
I didn't.
Robert Downey Jr. They recast him like the voice actor.
Mm-hmm.
They
He's
did?
the only person they recast, and so he like unfollowed everybody.
Oh, is that why he unfollowed everyone?
That was why.
Oh, I saw that he unfollowed everybody, but honestly, I'm not one to care for social media drama, so I didn't actually look into it.
Yeah, I didn't look into it. I just heard that he unfollowed everyone. I didn't
What do you
think
mean? What do you mean unfollowed everybody?
like on
Like-
Instagram.
He unfollowed
Oh.
all of his Marvel
Cast members.
cast members.
But they have matching tattoos. How could he?
Wait, why though?
Why?
Do
Yeah.
you
Why
guys
didn't
know?
they? Why didn't they cast him as Iron Man?
I think, and we'll hear the answer to this, I'm sure, eventually. But I think honestly, it's because Robert Downey Jr. costs a lot of money.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I think he cost like $160 million for like Spider-Man, and when they didn't have him in Far From Home, it was like, oh my gosh, this is such a cheap movie.
He probably costs more than any of their other actors because he was in their very first one. So I believe he gets even like money from all of the movie. He gets
Equity.
a percentage of the money they make on the movies and such.
Like the total, like the not just the box office, but like the home video releases and the merchandise, like the all of the money that the IP generates.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because even the creators of the IP for some of these comics don't make any money off of these live action. That's why we hear from the creator of Deadpool every 5 days. I'm excited for Deadpool.
Yeah.
Me too.
There's going to be a lot of jokes about everything.
Yeah. He'll probably even make fun of the stuff that doesn't make sense.
Exactly. Oh, you know he's definitely making fun of
like
that.
you got to. He's too self-aware, like to not.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he'll touch on Captain America.
And I think that's why they're testing out that format on She-Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
to see if it works and how they can like fix it for Deadpool. Because obviously, currently Deadpool doesn't fit into the MCU. The best Deadpool we would get is like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1,
Mm-hmm.
maybe Iron Man 3, maybe. That's a hard maybe. Because Deadpool is so ridiculous. Like Deadpool 2, I really hate that movie.
Really?
I was upset because I felt like Deadpool 1 had so much potential to be because remember it was rumblings and rumors that Disney was gonna buy them.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so I felt like Deadpool 1 had so much potential to just easily you could just plop it into the MCU.
Yeah.
Deadpool 2, they showed the other X-Men. It's no way it's going in there.
I would not want Deadpool in the MCU.
Well, now we have multiple timelines, so.
Yeah.
Oh, well, they announced that this morning everything is canon.
Yeah. I mean, I mentioned this. I don't think I mentioned this today, but I mentioned this another day. I think all of this multiple timelines and multiverse stuff and all of that was just a setup so they can basically do whatever they want now without worrying too much about continuity.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you knew that. Oh, you knew that. They can literally explain away all of those plot holes that we just discussed.
Yep.
All of the ones that we didn't. Like, they could literally say, oh, it's Kang's fault. Blame Kang.
This stuff makes me more like invested in seeing all these other Marvel movies because now we all like as the audience we all feel like now we're in the same like war with them and we're like part of it. Like when Endgame stuff was coming out, we're like, all right, we're gonna see how this goes down and stuff. But like we didn't feel involved in it. Now I feel involved in this like multiverse of war, even though I'm just sitting here watching it. If that makes sense.
Oh, they definitely have included us into this multiverse. Like, by simply saying everything is canon now, you could technically go back and watch anything because you don't know what's going to actually pop up.
Exactly. Yeah. So now I feel like more invested to keep rewatching things and find more details, find more
Mm-hmm.
Easter eggs and stuff.
Because Avengers 5 is actually going to be Spider-Man, Spider-Man No Way Home. Like, literally from the sound of the cast, it sounds like they got everybody.
Yeah.
Imagine they bring back Chris Evans, Johnny Storm.
Oh God.
It would be funny if they referenced.
If they reference like the other stuff.
Oh, if they referenced the whole Chris Evans playing two different roles within the same the same universe, not really, but if yeah.
The Marvel Cinematic Multiverse.
Yes.
The MCMU. Or MCMV. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. What are you guys most excited to see? I won't answer because obviously.
Oh, you know the answer?
Yeah.
Just
What are we excited most to see? You said.
Mm-hmm. What top 2 characters you're excited to see? One that we've already seen, one that we haven't, and what is your favorite property that you're excited to see that now could possibly exist? Well, it all exists, so it does exist somewhere in a galaxy far, far away.
Is it a character we are excited to see?
Mm-hmm. Like name 2 characters. One that we've already seen, we've already been introduced to, that you're excited to see again, and one that we have not seen.
Well, I want to see more Kang. Or whoever.
Mm-hmm. Or whoever he is.
Yeah, whoever he is. Well, I mean, he did say, like, some call me a conqueror, some people call me a ruler.
That was kind of cringy, but yeah.
Yeah. But he, like, dropped the conqueror.
He did.
I'm really excited to see what he does with the multiverse.
He's gonna ruin it. Well, he kind of already did.
I know. I don't know about a character we haven't met yet. But I'm excited to see What If, to be honest. Even more now.
Okay. Peggy Carter is Captain America, coming soon.
that would honestly be great.
Or Captain Britain, because she wasn't really American. I don't
No,
know.
she was not. That would be kind of
I think that's one of the episodes they did, but I'm like, she wasn't American, so is she gonna be Captain Britain? Or...
Yeah.
I also want to
Yeah,
see behind Miss Minutes.
I think it was him, but it also didn't feel like she was like, oh, she still calls me that. I feel like if I didn't want to be called that, I would just like rewire her or whatever technology he uses. How about you, Hannah? What are you excited for, and who are you excited for?
I'm excited for. Are you talking about just like the future anything, or in regards to Loki?
Anything. Everything is canon. Anything.
I'm excited for like the potential of what they can do with Yelena from the Black Widow movie, because I just really liked her. As for and Spider-Man, I've always liked Spider-Man, but as for a character we haven't seen, they have not once said they're going to do this. But I want to see a Squirrel Girl movie. I think they should.
They did announce that.
Wait, they did?
It was okay. So it got picked up. They filmed it already. It got picked up for ABC.
Oh,
and they like canceled it because like I don't think anyone wanted it.
My pitch has always been Squirrel Girl movie written by Ryan North. Hopefully, I didn't get his name wrong. Who wrote the Squirrel Girl comics? Directed by David Lynch. Marvel would never hire David Lynch, but a Squirrel Girl movie directed by David Lynch, which doesn't make sense if you don't know who David Lynch is, and probably doesn't make sense as a choice if you do know who David Lynch is. But I think it's a great idea.
I don't know what happened with I honestly I think it's called Secret Warriors was the title of the show, and it was like Squirrel Girl and like 5 other people that they just picked up.
Squirrel Girl would be such a great character, and she's beaten like every villain ever single-handedly. I'm pretty sure she defeated Thanos. She defeated Doctor Doom.
They might bring it back. I mean, at this point, even the Serpent Society or what is it, the Serpent People, they probably would even introduce.
Mm-hmm.
No, they won't. Remember when they announced that it was Captain America, like serpent people or whatever, and it was a troll the whole time. Lucius, what are you excited for?
Doctor Strange.
He's definitely gonna say Andrew Garfield.
Whatever. Ooh, I should send them that video I sent you on TikTok.
Yeah, it disconnected. Blame Kang.
As soon as my opinion comes on, you just end it. I see.
I was like, dang. As soon as you started talking,
Blame King.
blame Kang.
He's like, you guys know too much.
Yeah, it wasn't a part. It wasn't a part of the timeline. It wasn't on the sacred timeline.
Did we just get pruned?
we just got pruned.
Wow.
It was like literally as soon as you I was like, oh dang, did it go out?
I thought like something. Yeah, I wasn't sure what happened.
As soon as I started talking and I went out, I was getting ready to text you and say, all right, I see. Oh my.
That was funny.
I was going to say something that I was going to get a lot of hate for in this. But I was going to say, well, I'll tell you guys, and I'm sure you'll put it in there. I don't really care anymore. But I did not like the last episode of Loki at all.
You might as well just say it.
I did not enjoy it.
Is it because it wasn't like a lot of action or what?
No, it was just like for all this build up and all this like the great episodes and stuff. I just sat down with them for 30 minutes listening to them talk, and the next they just started fighting each other, and I was like, okay, like I kind of saw that once they started disagreeing and stuff. Then they kissed, and I was like, all right, that's what set me off. And then that's when she ended up killing him, and I was like, okay, well, now she was going to do that. But then the only thing I can say is I didn't predict the ending, but now just like if they would have started with that and then showed more of it, I would have been fine with the episode. Like
Oh,
that would have
you
been
like those
crazy.
episodes when it's like, oh, let's go back in time and explain what happened. Or oh, I hate
Like here's
those.
and then boom.
Wait, what kind of episodes? Well, like no, if they would have started like with first. Wait, who was the black dude? Is that Kang or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I don't like his character. I don't like the way he was. He was too goofy and stuff. I'm like, this is a letdown.
Oh, Steph is about to prune you.
Probably. I was gonna say because I know she liked him, but I didn't. I was not invested.
Steph is
I feel like he
definitely about
was,
to prune you.
and I'm like, how do I word this? He was goofy, but I feel like that because he already knew, like you said, he already knew it was gonna happen, and then he was messing with them. But he was
So
eating an apple, for crying out loud, like just chilling.
Oh, you know, people who eat apples and explain things to people are never gonna be well received.
Yeah,
but that like he
but
gave
he like,
he gave me Mandarin vibes from Iron Man 3, and that was a
Oh,
letdown.
you are disrespectful.
oh no, oh heck no.
Like
That's
he
how
was
I
just
felt
sitting there.
about Taskmaster. Like I
Really?
was like, oh, they're gonna just redo Taskmaster like how they did the Mandarin and give us an
Mhm.
appropriate version.
Probably.
Like for our big bad villain now, like we got some like this dude means no business to me.
Oh,
I
you
don't think.
haven't met. Oh, you
Yeah,
haven't met
you
Kang.
exactly. You haven't met the real one. Yeah,
So
this is just
so
this version.
oh, okay, that's so okay.
That one, this
Well,
one's dead now.
Oh, he's on. He
Yeah.
double
oh
died.
yeah, I forgot there's different versions and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's gonna watch. He's gonna surprise you. I bet. Because that
Oh,
actor.
he's about to be the worst villain
Mm-hmm.
ever.
Okay. At least I got some hope, I guess. Because I was saying,
Hannah, you missed it. Lucius just slandered Iron Man 3 and the last episode of Loki in one time.
In one sentence.
Is great. I don't know what you said.
I said, the Kang or whatever was like they portrayed him as like the Mandarin in Iron Man 3, like he was a letdown. So I didn't like.
Oh my
I
god,
didn't,
that's the best part of Iron Man 3. I don't get why that's what everybody insults about that movie, but it's great, and you're wrong.
well,
It's not. It's
no.
not an opinion. It's not an
Well,
opinion. It's objectively good.
no,
Please keep that in there.
well, like I loved Iron Man 3. That was the best Iron Man to me. But the way like they had so much build up for the Mandarin, how he was like everybody was scared and took himself seriously, and the next as soon as he showed up, he's just drinking a beer, watching a game and stuff. I'm like, okay, like he this guy means no business. That's how I felt with like Kang, like all this build up and stuff, and then he's just sitting there eating an apple, laying on the, like with his feet up on the table, and I'm like, okay, he means nothing. But then they just told me that there's other versions, so I have some hope, I guess.
Wow, what a bad opinion.
It is not a bad opinion. and then everybody keeps saying like this is the best final episode of all the shows. I'm like, no, like WandaVision was a better finale to me. Or talking about Winter
What?
Soldier, that was a better finale.
I personally think this was the best finale. I don't think it was a great finale or anything. I thought it was okay, but I thought the other finales were just really bad. So in comparison, this one was better.
I think Marvel hasn't figured out yet. Maybe they figured it out with Hawkeye. I think they're getting better, but I think they haven't figured out quite how to like do a show.
How to pace it too.
Yeah, like with 6 episodes. But they said Hawkeye is like 10 episodes.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
But like to me, out of the whole Loki series, I think episode what is it? I'm looking. Oh, episode 4, I believe, was the best episode.
It was well paced, but that's in the middle of the season.
And then it got me built up for the final episode, and then I was let down. So I was like, all right, whatever.
And you weren't let down with WandaVision? I mean, Ralph Boner? Really?
No, I was
Okay.
about that.
I mean, I didn't have high hopes. I don't know. I just kind of just let it play off.
I don't necessarily disagree with you that Loki, the finale was a letdown. I didn't think it was great, certainly, but I
Like
think out of the other Marvel shows, this one had the best ending, though in my opinion that's
well,
not
yeah,
saying much.
yeah, that's completely true. I just told them I was like everything about episode like the final episode was like I didn't enjoy it, but as soon as like the end happened when uh like the timelines began to like go crazy and stuff, I was like, oh okay, this is like really getting like crazy and this might change everything.
Mm-hmm.
But like I'm just saying for like when we watched WandaVision or the Falcon and Winter Soldier, they kept leading like each episode was getting bigger and bigger, and then the final episode was like a huge fight, and it it went on to it led to another movie or like it's gonna happen with another movie. This
Was there really a huge fight in the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier though?
well, it started off with the big fight, and then it pretty much showed like that we're getting Captain America 4 with a new Captain America and it introduced a new hero, and then WandaVision kind of led with like this is how this happened. This is how the new vision came out, and then now this leads to Doctor Strange. This one was like, all right, let's story time for like 40 minutes, and then the last 5 minutes of the movie hit you with something hard, and then that's gonna lead to many other movies.
Mm-hmm.
I think they all ended with like just set up. Like it was just all set. Like Marvel sacrificed a good finale, like a good definitive ending, because they knew. Remember before the movies, they would definitively end the movie because it was a movie, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and so they would definitively end it, and then that's why we love the post credit scene so much because the post credit scene you had to like watch it. Like that was the setup.
Yeah.
With this format of like the basically a movie, basically not TV, where it's broken into sections into parts, you kind of have like no definitive ending. It's just a lot of great setup for itself that gets let down because you're like, oh, where are they gonna end this? Where are they gonna take this? And the answer is always to the movies where you're gonna continue the story. And it makes you wonder. Like I thought the ending was perfect for Loki if you're a fan of everything but Loki. I'm an X-Men fan. I'm excited to see X-Men. I've been waiting on the X-Men all pandemic.
You're an X-Men fan?
Oh, I am
I'm just
like
kidding.
the worst X-Men
Right.
fan. I hate
Literally,
the X-Men.
literally every sentence he said, well, X-Men would come into play, or
Every
X-Men with this,
time.
X-Men with this.
Oh, you guys didn't know I was an X-Men fan?
No. I think you even dropped it in the freaking Zoom meeting.
Oh, I always throw an X-Men Easter egg. There's always one.
I feel like you've mentioned it at least once in every episode. So
Oh, I have to find my X-Men Easter egg. If I don't find my X-Men Easter egg, it wasn't a good episode.
Probably none of us would have known that Black Widow Easter egg with X-Men except you. And then when you just told us, like,
That's true.
yeah, so
Yeah, I never catch any X-Men.
Are you guys not fans of the X-Men?
they all right.
What?
What's your favorite X-Men movie?
Live action?
Yeah.
Logan.
Okay. Besides that's like the best one. But like out of the X-Men like groups,
Maybe either Days of Future Past or First Class. I like First Class a lot, but maybe Days of Future Past.
okay. I said that's the best one to me.
Oh Lord, never mind. I can have a bad opinion. I'll change my answer.
Fine, I'll say Apocalypse.
Oh, I believe that you will like Apocalypse.
I liked it.
What? That's like the worst movie ever.
I didn't
beyond Marvel.
that.
That was such a DC
it was
movie.
alright.
I don't know if I can say whether I'm an X-Man fan or not because I was never particularly a fan of those movies. I saw all or most of them, but X-Men Evolution was like a show that I rewatched 90 times when I was younger. So like I really love like a lot of the characters. I just haven't really seen them done that well in movies.
Oh, you know we're gonna get Rogue in Captain or the Marvels.
Yeah.
You know we're gonna get the little Captain Marvel sequel. You know we're getting that Rogue story.
Which nobody seems excited for, but me.
I
You're
I'd
excited
love
for the
if they did
Marvels?
like
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
I'd love if they do something with Rogue and Gambit.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking Bonnie and Clyde style, like
Yeah.
that would be cool. But are they gonna bring back Channing Tatum to play Gambit? I know he was like signed on to do it in the Fox universe. Is he gonna like?
Yeah, weren't they going to do a Gambit movie, or did they do it?
No, they were gonna do it. They never. We only seen Gambit once for like 5 seconds in like X-Men Origins Wolverine with the bow staff, and that was like the greatest 5 second fight I've ever seen.
All right, calm down.
Wait, what?
That was easily the greatest 5 second fight. Him versus Wolverine, I almost passed out.
Oh, you said the greatest 5 second fight scene.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like it was.
I was like, wait.
Like I'm saying, like out of the fights that are like 5 seconds, like what we saw of
Okay.
like Loki, like him and Sylvie fighting, like
I just didn't hear the 5 second part. That's why I was like, wait, hold on.
the greatest fight I ever seen.
That's why I was like,
Well,
I don't know.
the greatest fight I've ever seen.
it might be top 50. It might be top 50.
Okay.
That bow staff was crazy. Did you see how he like broke the ceiling and it was like and then Wolverine came and was like It was crazy. It was crazy. A lot of screaming and yelling and with Wolverine it's always gonna be a lot of cigarettes, but like Marvel doesn't like allow like cigarettes. So how is that gonna happen? We don't know. That we don't know. I wonder if they're gonna recast Wolverine though, or they are gonna go with Hugh Jackman. It looks more and more likely they're going with Hugh Jackman.
He's kind of old to be playing Wolverine at this point, which is why I think the movie Logan worked really well, because he was kind of getting. It's kind of the movie. It's him getting older is it's kind of like a little bit of a plot point. Like he's not as strong, but it's kind of difficult to use him when he's a character who's supposed to age super slowly, so he's pretty young. So using him
they
when
can
he's
do the de-aging thing. They did de-aging in Logan for like the other version that he was fighting that inevitably killed him.
Oh yeah.
Did Loki steal Logan? Kang kills himself. Logan kills himself. I think Kang just set up the X-Men. No. But what are you guys' final thoughts on everything Loki?
I want to see more of where Loki ended up. Like I want to see when they explain that to him.
And your predictions?
I cannot predict. It's too much.
It's too many timelines.
That too.
I have
like
Loki
to say is what?
Starting off Loki season 2 exactly where he left. Unless Loki season 2, because they already filmed it. So like Loki season 2, if it is set after Doctor Strange, I guess that's relative though, because Loki season 1 was set technically after the Avengers, but has implications for everything after. So,
So do you think Loki would have anything to do with like do you think he'll ever see Thor again in our world now? Because now Thor 4 is going to come out, and I don't know if Loki's going to be in that.
Thor's in space.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that
He's not in space.
He's retired.
The Asgardians of the Galaxy, remember?
Well, that was a thing, but Asgard's on like what? Where is New Jersey? Something like that.
Yeah, but remember he gets in the spaceship with them and flies off at the end.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I forgot about that.
You're spoiling. You're spoiling timeline, man. Who's your supervisor?
Stop.
That's gonna be the new way to just ask somebody a question. Anytime that something seems off, who's your supervisor?
I just hope the second season. I was really hoping that. I mean, I thought they were going to do more of this, but then they ended up not. I hope they have more just Mobius and Loki just kind of interacting.
True. Yeah, they went in favor of the love story.
Yeah,
which is annoying.
the not quite incestuous love story.
That was like the worst kissing scene I've ever seen.
It felt weird and cringy.
I'm trying to think. What's the worst kiss scene I've ever seen in a movie? Man, what was it?
That has competition. That's a difficult.
Well, there was one movie that was perfect for a kiss scene, and they ended up just ending it. But I think, have you seen Chaos Walking?
Yeah.
Okay, when at the end I thought they were gonna kiss and they just ended it. I was like, is it because COVID or like that's how it's.
Yeah. Well, she does say she's like, I'm not gonna kiss you.
Yeah, yeah, true.
I hate when they give us non-kissing scenes. Oh, I hate that as a fan. Then again, they could have probably not gave us a Loki kissing scene. It seemed like they probably should have gave it like earlier.
Mm-hmm.
That would I still would have had enjoyed that. Loki's not the type of guy to kiss, like fall for people and stuff. Not to me.
That's the part that was weird for me. I'm like, oh, Loki doesn't do this.
But
It
then
did feel weird.
But then I think it's because he's falling for himself, and that's why he was involved. Like he liked that.
You're gonna make Hannah throw up. You keep saying that.
Like
It's
how?
just
Like
icky.
because like
Like
all Lokis are liars. All Lokis are the same. And if he's falling for another Loki that's just as himself, he's selfish. He only loves himself.
But he was the only Loki to even think like that. None of the other Lokis thought like that. None of them were even intrigued by the idea of a female Loki. They're like, oh,
no.
Like, if it was just a platonic relationship, I would appreciate the whole angle of, what makes them different from the other Lokis is they love and care about each other. But the fact that they make it romantic, it's just like, it's icky. And yeah, there's the whole thing where it's like, that's kind of a little bit narcissistic. I feel like it would feel a little bit less narcissistic if it was, just kind of the platonic emotions, because they're not. I'm just gonna stop there. I'm gonna just keep going if I don't stop.
oh Lord. That's Terminator. Or did he say I'll be back?
Who said that? I don't know.
I didn't. By the way, I've never seen any of the other like Terminator movies until they like hit like regular TV, like on FX, like Terminator Genesis and stuff, and they're all very terrible.
Yeah, I just never bothered watching the other one.
Like that franchise is pretty bad.
The first one is pretty good.
No, I would say Terminator is just like Fast and Furious. They just keep getting worse.
But like the Terminator is like similar in that it has those issues with time, and they keep remaking like old versions and building on like old sequels and then getting rid of it and then coming back. It's like at this point, and they also have that same issue of Arnold Schwarzenegger getting older.
Mm-hmm.
But like they need him because at this point he's selling the movie. I don't know. It just seems like they never knew what they wanted to do with that one.
Well, I think they had this really good standalone movie, and then it had success, and then they tried to do a bunch of sequels that just didn't
ever pan out.
They didn't work because they give you what happens, and you know what happens in the future. You don't need to see it play out.
There's a good show on Netflix called Travelers. I think they do the confusing, but they do the best job at the time travel genre. High recommend. High recommend. But all right, you variants. We will be back. What's the next show? Hawkeye? Is Hawkeye gonna come out before the next movie, or are we going to have to do a movie review before then?
We'll probably do. I think it's the Shang-Chi one.
It's Shang-Chi,
I'm so
Eternals,
excited.
Spider-Man.
Oh, there's no. What If's coming out on August 11th?
August 11th. We will be back for What If. That sounds
Wait,
so
what
weird
if comes
say.
out August?
Yeah, August 11th.
Oh wow!
And
I
Spider-Man
did
is
not
what,
know that.
September?
Yeah, no, December.
December. What?
September is
Venom?
Shang-Chi, November is Eternals, December is Spider-Man, and then it goes next year.
Did they move Venom to next year, or is it still like September or something like that?
I think Venom's October.
Okay. And then and Morbius got moved to next year.
Which I forgot all about.
Morbius will be interesting after Blade. It won't be interesting before.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on what happens with Spider-Man. Because I don't think Venom touches Spider-Man at all.
Probably not.
Granted, I think Venom is definitely going to be entering into the MCU. I don't see how they don't bring Spider-Man back, and I don't see how they don't bring Spider-Man with Venom. I don't know. We'll find out. I'm excited for Spider-Man. I might be the most excited for Spider-Man because it seems like all roads keep leading us to Spider-Man.
They should be dropping the trailer soon, so
The
I hope
Spider-Man
so.
movies have been really good too, so
I think they're afraid to drop the trailer because it'll confirm everything.
Well, that's right. Well, they definitely have to play it safe. So
They probably just wanted us to finish watching Loki, and they might want us to watch What If. This is the longest they've ever gone without it. Because remember, they didn't have to post. Granted, it was Marvel and Disney. I mean, Marvel and Disney and Sony, and they're back and forth. But they didn't have to post because they really spoiled Endgame.
mm-hmm.
If you guys remember, the trailer came out 3-4 months before Endgame for Spider-Man Far From Home. It's
true.
Spider-Man
Yeah.
survived.
Yeah.
But you kind of already knew. Well,
They could have played coy like it's a prequel.
No, well, because people already knew that other movies were going to come out after Endgame, and I'm sure Spider-Man was the only one. So people knew
Technically,
that, but
Spider-Man is not Phase 4. Technically, it's Phase 3.
yeah, I know. As the last Phase 3 movie, but I don't think they spoiled anything until they dropped the second trailer out during Endgame, when they showed Iron Man dead.
But Spider-Man 4, I'm not Spider-Man 4. Spider-Man 3. It's weird because Falcon and Winter Soldier is set after Spider-Man.
mm-hmm.
I mean, no, it's not. I lie. It's set before Spider-Man, but Spider-Man is Phase 3, and Falcon and Winter Soldier is Phase 4, and Black Widow is Phase 4. So it's a lot of prequels and timelines. Marvel, we need help. Kang, where's the button? Call Kang. Miss Minutes,
Hannah missed that joke too earlier.
Oh,
when the
yeah.
went out.
Oh, yeah.
We said we got pruned because we knew too much.
Oh.
It was Lucius' fault. He created a Nexus level event.
I totally
By his
did.
bad opinions. All his bad
Not the
opinions
spike.
added up.
And as soon as he started talking, it just went boop.
They
literally
reset the
Ryan said,
timeline.
all right. Now we're back here, so
At least
Literally.
your Nexus event wasn't accidentally eating the wrong neighbor's cat.
Wow,
Yeah.
I just
I
realized.
did do that once.
Huh?
I said I did do that once, so
I just realized we never found out Sylvie's Nexus level event.
Oh shit, you're right.
She did all of that.
Yeah.
All of that.
Why didn't he
Maybe it
ask
was.
him?
I don't know.
They better explain it in season 2 then. Or what if they start off like that? That'd be cool.
I mean,
Oh, that will be cool.
if they were arguing it was one timeline, which this is one of the things where I think they got not everything they put out was quite logical. If there is only a single timeline at this point, you would think that her Nexus event would have been just being born because Loki is supposed to be a dude. But if that was the case, they would have needed to grab her basically the second she was born. I don't know.
It better be a
Crazy
really
explanation.
good. Yeah, it better be a really good Nexus event that would have been like, oh shit. Like,
It's gonna be another Ralph Boner joke.
it better not. It's gonna be like super boring.
But we'll be before you know it. If you guys would like to hear a weekly or I guess a more periodic series, then comment that below. I was gonna say Iron Man 3000, but it just felt off. I didn't want to be unfollowed. All right, guys.
How about you just say for all time and always?
Yeah, there you go.
I can't remember it. I keep forgetting it. I don't know what's going on.
It's for all time, always.
You're about to cause another Nexus level event. All right, guys. Thanks for watching the Polaris Network on YouTube. For exclusive shows and premium content, subscribe to the Polaris Network on Patreon right now.